You may be familiar with Melania Trump as the former First Lady, model, and silent companion of one of the most divisive presidents in history. But beneath her cool demeanor, she has been plagued by a series of controversies. These stories go beyond the headlines and show why Melania's past is anything but quiet, so don't assume you've heard it all. Continue reading to learn how each scandal affected her public image. Let's get started. 1. Campaign images for Back to School 2006. Melania Trump was a rising star in New York and Europe long before she was elected president. In August 2006, pictures of Melania wearing a tight plaid skirt, white knee-high socks, and a buttoned shirt appeared in a back-to-school ad she photographed for a private school in Manhattan. The images were deemed too sexualized for a school environment at the time by parents and educators. Melania was just modeling a uniform for a tiny boutique project, according to her representative, who defended her. However, media sources used catchy headlines such as "Model Gone Too Far." The outcry alluded to a persistent conflict in Melania's career. Everyone adores her appearance but is constantly curious about her motivations. 2. The 2016 Loudoun County scandal. Melania placed her support behind her husband's Make America Great Again program during the 2016 presidential campaign. But her reputation as the quiet candidate was in jeopardy after a past revelation. A representative for Melania's famous New York home disclosed that she was sued by Loudoun County, Virginia, who claimed that she had trespassed onto a historic property while doing a fashion magazine photo shoot and would not leave. Although the litigation was swiftly resolved, the harm was done by portraying the model, who became a national figure, as someone who didn't think the rules applied to her. The article followed Melania during her tense campaign appearances. Despite her team's claims that she was ignorant of property limits at the time, it seemed as though her very presence begged the question, does she play by her own rules? 3. Her fluent Slovenian is questioned by critics. 2017 as First Lady. Melania frequently spoke to people who understood her immigrant heritage, but reporters later uncovered previous interviews in which she found it difficult to use simple Slovenian terms. She was accused of exaggerating her language skills after reports snippets from a small Slovenian news program in 2005 surfaced that showed her faltering over simple statements. How can a proud immigrant be so shaky in her native tongue? Outraged critics. Authenticity was at the center of the dispute, not merely language. Pundits questioned whether she was fabricating a story, even as she recounted touching tales of her early years in Slovenia. Despite what Melania's staff referred to as translation errors, the suspicion remained. There were still doubts about her reliability in immigrant communities. 4. At the 2016 RNC. Plagiarism. Melania's first address as a First Lady candidate was given at the Republican National Convention in July 2016. It was smooth and professional. And then it was a sentence lifted from Michelle Obama's 2008 Democratic National Convention speech. Michelle's prior statements were echoed by phrases like "from a young age, my parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life." The statement Melania's speech was a copy-paste job, went viral on social media. For laughter, late-night discussion shows would play video side by side. Melania attributed those lines to poor editing choices, claiming that the speechwriters she collaborated with unintentionally included them. But after the term plagiarism was used, it pervaded all subsequent speeches, making it impossible for anyone to listen without recalling those phrases that were taken from another source. 5. Crybaby mugshot. 2018 tabloids took advantage of Donald Trump's legal troubles in March 2018 over alleged hush money payments to take pictures of Melania holding a white mug that said "Crybaby." As she walked out of a New York courthouse, paparazzi took pictures from all directions. The message was clear: disobedience to detractors and a jab at the court case. Media analysts referred to it as provocative and tasteless, implying that it demonstrated Melania's greater cunning than compassion. Her crew claimed it was just a gift from a friend and denied any intentional statement. However, the picture became iconic, a silent supporter making a strong statement, illustrating how every item of clothing and prop around Melania may become scandalous when it comes to the spotlight. 6. Participation in impeachment trials. 2020 Melania's appearance at her husband's initial impeachment trial in 2020 sparked controversy. She wore a simple white dress and diamond-studded earrings as she sat in the Senate gallery. However, her austere and occasionally eye-rolling facial reactions were beamed all over the world. She was criticized for showing contempt for the democratic process. Others asserted that instead of showing up as a spectator to her husband's downfall, she ought to have remained at home in support of the first ladyship. Although it was a personal choice to support the family, the optics were awful. According to the White House press release, memes using her face photoshopped onto everything from game show reactions to well-known paintings became viral. Melania discovered once more that merely showing up to a constitutional hearing could cause a commotion. There have been scandals throughout Melania Trump's life, some justified and others not, ranging from the early schoolgirl scandal to the impeachment gallery looks. Every moment demonstrated how a first lady must handle constant attention, when every gesture, every remark, and every clothing can turn into a controversy. I appreciate you coming along as I delve deeply into the scandals that have always surrounded Melania. If you discovered something new, use the like button and leave a comment with your ideas. Which Melania controversy caught you off guard the most? To ensure that you never miss another behind-the-scenes tale, remember to subscribe and hit the bell. Until we meet again, keep in mind that even silence can become controversial in the realm of prominent characters.